everybody, it's Bentley here with the Sugarfreeadvantage channel, and today we're going to be talking about the 3 mistakes you must avoid to stop yourself from binge eating. We're about stopping this behavior, or at least getting it down to a manageable roar so that it doesn't make you fat or unhappy with yourself. If you want to stop binge eating, you must keep these 3 trigger mistakes in mind every day of your life. And I'm going to talk about the 3 mistakes as an overview first, and then I'm going to go into each one a little more deeply so that you get the whole big picture. The first mistake is that you must go sugar-free, baby. Sugar-free is a key. Sugar is a key trigger, but you must not scare yourself with that decision, and I'm going to show you how to do that. The second thing is to never, ever allow yourself to get hungry. Hunger is a huge monumental trigger, and you can avoid it so easily. And the third mistake is to never go without satisfaction, at least at your 3 meals. At least at your 3 meals, include a satisfaction feature in your meal. And so let's get started. When I say sugar-free, I mean table sugar, of course, and all its relatives, all its caloric sweetener relatives. So table sugar, confectioner's sugar, superfine sugar, raw sugar, organic sugar, sugar in the raw, whatever kind of sugar you can think of, I'm including. I'm also including any kind of syrup, so agave syrup and high fructose corn syrup and maple syrup and rice syrup, and things like molasses and honey. Any caloric sweetener I call sugar. And the reason I do that is because it just gets too cumbersome to say all those words. So when I say sugar-free, I mean that whole big family of caloric sweeteners. So you need to make the decision to go sugar-free, but you can't scare yourself with it. And one thing that's going to scare you is if you say, I'm never going to have sugar again for the rest of my life. Well, that's pretty scary. And even breaking it down to a year is scary. Even breaking it down to a month can be scary. I recommend starting with a week. A week is the ideal time frame to make the decision to go sugar-free. And if a week is even too long, try a Monday through Friday period. And if that's too long, try a day. And if a day is too long, you can try it for half a day. A half a day is the smallest component you need to start with. And you then build from there. So once you make it a half a day, you go for a day. And once you make it one day, you go for 2 days. And once you go for 2 days, you go for 4 days. 4 days takes you to a week. A week takes you to 2 weeks. 2 weeks takes you to a month. See, you just keep doubling your time and asking yourself to do a little bit more every time. And that way you're not scaring yourself with a big, heavy, forever decision that you don't know yet if you want to keep. You're doing the experiment on yourself to see if sugar and other caloric sweeteners are actually triggers for you. There's a lot of controversy about this. It is a trigger for me. It is a trigger for everybody I've ever worked with, but maybe it's not a trigger for you, and you need to figure it out. And you're going to do it by conducting these short-term experiments on yourself and seeing if it helps. Does it help or not? I think it's going to help you a lot. So try it, but try it within a contained time period. The second mistake you must avoid is to never, ever, ever let yourself go hungry or get hungry, because hunger is another trigger. It will make you binge like crazy, and that's what you want to stop. And it's so easy to preempt hunger by just a little tiny bit of planning ahead and having a strategy about how you're going to eat. I highly recommend 3 meals a day and 3 snacks, a morning snack, an afternoon snack, and an evening snack. That way you never let yourself get hungry. You are feeding yourself in a consistent way. And you're always preempting that urge to binge because you're starving. And I know that intermittent fasting is very popular right now, and if that works for you, fine. But for many people, going without food for 12 or 18 hours might just be too long. It is better to take to lose weight slower and to avoid something that's going to trigger you to binge than to lose weight quickly and to still come out of it a binger after you've lost 5 or 10 pounds. What good is that going to do you? You have to solve the problem along the way. And one of the problems you have to consider is that hunger is going to do you in. So please consider that. The third and last thing you need to keep in mind is that you must satisfy yourself along the way. So going sugar-free doesn't mean that you have to give up satisfaction. You can eat sugar-free alternatives if you want, sugar-free sweetening agents if you want. And I've done plenty of videos on those. I'll note them in this at the bottom here. And you can choose lots of different substances that are really based on personal preference. And that's fine. You must give yourself some fat and some foods that satisfy you. One of the joys of sugar-free eating is that it's not fat-free eating, and fat satisfies and fat fills you up and it tastes delicious and it stops you from binging. It stops you from feeling deprived. That is a strategy that is going to be so helpful to you. I also recommend as a way of satisfaction is to not eat snack carbs by themselves. Here's an example of what I mean by that. An apple is a carbohydrate. And if you eat an apple by itself, you might be hungry in 20 or 30 minutes right afterwards because it doesn't stay with you. So eat a little bit of fat or protein with it. Eat some nuts with it. Eat some peanut butter with it. Eat some cheese with it. Eat a piece of meat with it. Do something to anchor that apple to you so it isn't a wasted snack where you're still feeling hungry. That's what I mean by satisfaction. Another thing I mean by satisfaction is to find a way to give yourself the flavors that you love. I, for example, love the flavor of chocolate. For me to go without chocolate would be a real deprivation. I would start feeling sorry for myself. And, that sense of deprivation could be a trigger for me. So I have found a way to work chocolate into my life. I have chocolate almost every day. The only reason I wouldn't have it is because maybe I'm traveling and it's not convenient. And I didn't bring my stuff, or I ran out of stuff, or whatever. But that would really be the only reason. Otherwise, I'm having it and I'm loving it. So there you have it. 3 mistakes you must avoid to break yourself of a binging habit. One is to go sugar-free. Go sugar-free, baby. Sugar-free. And you know what I mean by sugar-free. But to do it within a predefined time period so you don't scare yourself. Then you can incrementally increase that time period as you go along. Start small and grow it. The second thing you need to do is never, ever let yourself get hungry. I highly recommend 3 meals and 3 snacks every day, or some system that works for you. No more than 3 meals and 3 snacks, but it up to 3 meals and 3 snacks, whatever works for you so that you're not experiencing hunger. Hunger is a huge monumental trigger. And the third thing is to build some satisfaction into the foods that you're eating, at least in the 3 meals. There must be a satisfaction component, a food that you like, or some high fat, or a protein that you like. Be sure to give it to yourself so that you don't feel deprived. Deprivation is a trigger and you want to avoid it. It's easy to avoid. There's lots of ways to make yourself happy. You can do this. You can stop yourself from binge eating. Lots of people have. Come back for more information. I have lots of information to share with you. I would love it if you would smash that like button, and please think about the subscribe button too. Bye for now.